Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Bill. I always appreciate how early Bill gets up. Thank you, Bill. And my friend Derek. Thank you, too. But I always appreciate the time zone different people. Good morning, HB. Good morning, Sparky. Good morning. Classic. Classic the classic. Classic, how are the kitties? Good morning, smiling nerdy. Classic, how are the kitties doing? Jesus Christ is here on time this morning. Good morning, Badgie. Nice to see our Badster here. Good morning, Oreo. Donnie Fike. Nice work. Good morning, Free. What? Wait a minute. What? Free. What? Free and Badgie. Good morning, you two wonderful gentlemen. Good morning. I know, Herbie. Free. Good morning, Captain Obvious. Pre-coffee, pre-tea. Derek, can you believe Free's here this morning? Badgie's here this morning. Good morning, you two. Captain Obvious, you actually showed up on time today. No, there's no time. Nobody has a time here. It's come and go as you please, class. Morning, Mr. Phillips. Good morning, Laura. Nurs, there's the Nursey. Nursey the Nursey Nurserton. Good morning. Good morning, Jolie. Free, you're going to notice that some of the screen names have changed. YouTube changed it to your sign-in name on YouTube rather than whatever you chose as a screen name. So that's why you're seeing it different. Sandman. Now what's happening? Did you guys all decide to get together and show up there this morning? What's going on? Greenie, good morning. Greenie wrote me the nicest email this week, you guys. Just a beautiful email written to, he lives about 2 hours away from me, but he sent me his personal phone number. He said, Pops, next time I will come and pick you up and take you to the doctor. And other things he said. It was just super sweet. Kitty Catzilla. Good morning, Mike Barball. Billy, really? Not all channels are this way? I thought YouTube changed it, period, as a policy. No? Well, what do I know? Mr. Marmars, there's a huggable Sare Bear. Good morning. Veggie. Vegas never sleeps. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Good morning, Exception, and Sammy P, and Freddie the Hinky Hinkleton. No dabbing, Jesus Christ. I stopped smoking pot and vaping and all of that in the very, very beginning of June. And I do feel better. I gotta be honest. I miss it though. I miss a buzz once in a while. But physically I feel just so much better as a result. Yeah. Much better. Good morning. Who did we just see here? Good morning, Paige. HB, my model town is out in the garage in storage. I haven't brought it into the house. I haven't brought it in. It's wrapped up in some nice storage and it's out in the garage. I missed my little thing, but I have been so busy. I haven't had a chance to do any work on it at all since I moved. Good morning, everybody. Joe Dees. Deezy the Deezerton. Good morning. Hey, Exception Free is here today. Free is here. Badgie's here. Sandman's here. Yeah, HB. Hobbies are important. So I try to volunteer right now. Streety's here. What's going on? Eric's here. Eric Roth. Did you see that? Laura Free is here. Streety Free is here. Yeah, it's the OG crew. What's going on? It's a beautiful thing. I love my friends. What's going on with the like button? 45 people, 26 likes. We could do better. We're here for the Q&A. No hurry, Nick. I know you got it. I know you got it. Don't worry. Your package went out this morning. Free's saying hello to everyone. Streety misses everyone. I love you guys. Oh, that's nice, Nurse. Good for you. Good for you. Good for your friend. Clean Grow. There's Cleany. JW, he hasn't been here much, but he's still posting. Michael Allen is still posting pictures of his dog and other things. Those plants that he's growing. I imagine it's probably pretty close to harvest time for those plants that he's growing. Good morning, everybody. Nerdster. Nerdy the nerdy nerderton. Good morning, everybody. Okay, we're gonna get to business right away here. Let me turn this business around. We have some stuff, a couple of things to cover before we go any further. Sammy's doing some harvesting today. Nice. Jesus Christ is in the corner, he told us. He's in the reflection pool. He can walk across the reflection pool without sinking. The reflection pool doesn't work with Jesus Christ. He levitates across it. Okay. Excuse me. A couple of things. Who's the co-host? Who's going to be our co-host next Wednesday morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time? We forgot to pick a co-host. Who do you guys want it to be? 100 people. You guys, 100 people made a very nice donation yesterday. I'll talk about that in a moment. But who's going to be our co-host next Wednesday at 9:30 a.m.? Any nominations? Who's going to nominate someone? You know the old volunteer trick where everybody takes a step back except one person still standing there? You know that trick? What are we going to... So far we've said 100 people. We said, Nif would be a good one. How about Nif? You know what, though? She works. Now that I think about it, Niffy is usually working and watching us at the same time. And Nerdy goes to work right about 9:30. That's when he bails out on us. Nippy, Cleany, Bill D, Sandy. Who else? Give me a couple more nominations, and then we'll decide. Headbuster, I've got that nomination. We're hearing that one. We've got a Herbie nomination. I haven't seen anybody Like really get behind a certain person here. It's looking like Jesus Christ in Australia. People want Jesus Christ. Jesus, do you have IG? Does Jesus have IG? Everybody wants Jesus. We all want to see Jesus. Does he have IG? Jesus Christ, we want you. We don't need Jesus to behave. I want to hear him, mate. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he has IG. Whoever hosts has to have IG. You gotta Jesus Christ for the shot caller. Yeah, just the time delay. We've got to put him on a time delay, like a 10-second censorship time delay. Okay. If we just put him, Jesus Christ superstar. Okay. Jesus is always with us. Laura would be a good one too, I agree. Well, Laura would be a good one. Let's see. I'm going to throw it out there. How about Billy D? Bill, would you be available? And then we still have 100 on the list. We've got Herbie. Herbie will always do it. Okay. Bill, what do you think? Laura's working. Billy's taking a pass. Billy's taking a pass, you guys. He's saying, nah. Handsome Bill doesn't want to. And everybody has reasons. Okay, everybody has reasons. Laura's thinking about it. 100 says, I don't have anything too fun to share. Just being here is sharing. Okay? Sandman. Sandy. Let's go with Sandman. We haven't talked to Sandman, haven't seen Sandman in a little while. Sandy, next Wednesday, 9:30. Okay, next Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. But you have to have IG. You have to have IG. I think you have IG, right? And at 9:30, what happens is you call my IG, and then we do a video conference, a video call. Okay? All right. I haven't seen you very active, but I know you're very, very busy. So we're going with Sandy. We'll make sure that morning that we're connected, and then we'll have you call me at 9:30 next Wednesday morning. Okay? It'll be nice to catch up with Sandy, see what he's been up to lately. That's a good one. One of these days it's going to be Streety. That would be so great, Jesus, if you take yourself and send something. That would be great. No kidding. You're just such a fun person. You know how much we love you here. We love Jesus. I feel bad for all of the other mystical leaders out there that we don't mention as often as we mention Jesus Christ in Australia. Jesus Christ. Okay. We all love Jesus. So out of line. Okay. Actually, I don't have either VHS or beta. What are you like still in the 1990s? What are you doing? Okay. What are you doing? We graduated from the 1990s about 2 years ago. Okay. We need a Buddha from New Zealand. Sandy, laser disc, right? Cassette tape. How about just a cassette tape of Jesus Christ? I don't even have a cassette player. I don't have a VHS player. I don't have any of that stuff anymore. Okay? Well, Wazzy. One of these days we get Wazzy too. I want to see Waz co-host. Waz and I make each other laugh like you wouldn't believe. Okay? Still burn DVDs. No, Herbie. Nobody is using DVDs. Except for Jesus Christ and Australia must be behind the tech times. It would be good to have Waz, you guys. One of the Mush Fests recently that we did, my abs still hurt from that. Oreo still has a DVD burner. Oh gosh. Nobody still has that. Hey guys, this is for you guys. Listen. That thing doesn't work very well. Yeah, my clap button is going south on me. Let's see if I can do a different one. Probably need a battery in my machine. I think I'm going to need a battery. Yeah, I'm going to probably have to put a new battery in this thing. It's starting to wear down. Okay, battery time coming up. I was going to give you guys a round of applause this morning. Yesterday, you guys raised $120, and I'm sending it to the Red Cross. $120 in one quick morning. Pretty good. $120. 100 people here sent a really nice donation, but he didn't order anything. I wrote back to him, I go, well, what are you ordering? He goes, I'm not asking for anything, Pops. I'm just sending money. So it was pretty nice. $120 raised yesterday using Derek Anderson's, Pops needs an eyebrow trim, using Derek Anderson's weed and a few ghosts. A couple of ghosts went out. Boo. $120. Pretty good deal. Just like that. So thank you. I was so surprised. I also, I got tired of printing labels. No, I didn't. But, yeah, let me show you. Hold on. One second. All ready to go? You guys did a great job. Congratulations. Let me put those back out. What do you guys think about that? Way to go. Way to go. The we put them out in a box now, and we have an arrangement. Leon, my postman, comes right by and he picks them up, and he usually picks them up right about 10 o'clock. So almost every time when the show's over and we're getting ready to take Ruff for his drive around the block, we look in and we see that Leon has already come by and picked those up. So those will probably be out by the time we're done here today. Pretty cool, am I right? Okay. I'm going to read one thing, and then we're going to one second. I'm going to read one thing, and then we're going to open it up for question and answer this morning. You guys know, Pops, I love to always talk about the business end of where is it? One second. Was it? I think it's right here. There it is. I like to on occasion discuss the business end of the psychedelic movement, meaning the investment end. And why? Because this isn't, I mean, this is going to be a generalization for sure, okay? But generally speaking, pretty intelligent people are investing in the stock market and finding businesses to invest in to grow their money. Most people don't just take their money and give it to an organization that they haven't done some research and haven't considered whether or not it's a wise investment. So a lot of decisions, and usually research before those decisions, goes into investing your money, right? Give me 5 people that agree with that statement, that concept. Am I right? People don't just throw their money at a business and hope it works. They've looked into it, they've determined that, you know what, this should gain me money, and I mean, stock is a gamble, like Mr. Phillips says, but if you're a wise investor, you can usually read the tea leaves and determine that this is probably a good direction to go to grow your money. So, having said that, I like to keep track of the businesses that see their stock increase and or are included in new investments, because I don't do as much research as other people do in psychedelic businesses at the business end, at the financial end. But I can track what other people are doing. Okay, so having said that, I like to see what businesses in the psychedelic realm are feeling more bullish, and then which ones are feeling bearish. Like, you guys know, bear means that the stock is dropping, bull means that it's rising. Okay? Are you feeling bullish? The smart money is. Psychedelic Alpha's latest quarterly survey polled 182 investors, and it found a dramatic shift in sentiment from last year alone. More than half now report feeling moderately to highly optimistic about their investments compared to last year, when only 43% were neutral or pessimistic. Today, last year was 43% in the same time frame. We're feeling pessimistic. Today, it's 12.5%. Good morning, Ava. Nice to see you. 12.5% are expressing doubt. So what changed? First, the new U.S. administration has investors hyped. We're seeing the Secretary of Health definitely behind it. We're seeing governors behind it. We're seeing senators and representatives that are saying, you know what, let's start working with psychedelics, especially for veterans. So the new administration, not talking politics, but is certainly much, much more positive about psychedelics than any administration in our history. Okay? The new administration have over 65% reporting positive outlooks. Pretty good. The regulatory landscape, which barely even registered last year, is now a top driver of interest, right up there with clinical milestones. Meanwhile, the money's getting serious. Larger ticket investments are growing, and among those who invested over $250,000 last year, exactly 0 plan to pull back this year. Investors that invested over $250,000, you got to know what you're doing if you're going to take $250,000 and invest it in psychedelic businesses. Am I right? Yes, Prem King, I am. So $250,000, and of those polled that put $250,000 into or more into investing, none of them said they're going to pull back this year. The shift is most dramatic among retail investors. Over 80%, now a retail investor is you and me. It's not a business-to-business investment. We're retail investors, the small guy. The guy that's going to put $5, $6, $100, $1,000, $5,000. We are the retail investors, okay? The shift is most dramatic among retail investors. Over 80% of them now report moderate to high optimism compared to only 20% a year ago. 20% of retail investors a year ago said, I think it's a good idea to invest in psychedelics. 80% in the same time frame 1 year later. That is a massive sea change. Nearly 50% of respondents now believe current interest in psychedelics is entirely sustainable. That's the highest on record. After years of doom and gloom, it looks like investors are ready to put their money where their third eye is. That's what the article says. Give me 5 people that like that. That's good news, you guys. And that is incredibly good news. We're seeing a complete not only is our culture shifting, but the money people are starting to put their money where their third eye is. It's pretty good stuff. Those are the kind of things Pops pays attention to. Pops is a retail investor in a couple of small investments and a couple of compass pathways. Just a couple of businesses, and we'll just watch it. We'll see how things go. I said this 3 years ago. I predicted that by the year 2030, 70% or more of psychological therapies are going to include psychedelics in their modalities. Laura watches MindMed. They're good too. MAPS. There's some very, very solid businesses out there. And then there are a couple that fell by the wayside because they were faking their data. The MDMA data. It was not faked, but it wasn't accurate scientifically. So you just pay attention if you're going to drop $100 somewhere. There's some really worthwhile businesses to do that in. And if you just sit on it, you'll watch your money grow. Bitcoin killing me. Bitcoin is killing me. I literally have $100 in Bitcoin just because I wanted to see what it does. $100. I was like, okay, let me put $100, and I watch my Bitcoin. I go and look at it every day. Dumb. $100. Killing me. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was up to $118 a coin. This morning I'm looking, it was like 84. It just, it does a lot of up and down, and over a year it'll look different. But right now in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, it's not killing me. My $100 is now $84. But you know, I wanted it to turn to 120, not 84. But I'll just let it ride. It's 100 just to watch it and have fun. Kim has some Doge. Doge is probably a smarter investment, to be honest with you, in that at least people are listening to that guy that makes Teslas. Okay? Oh, Captain Obvious, I'm not an investor in any of the Bitcoin stuff. I truly am not. I just dropped $100 in there, and more or less just to have a little skin in the game, so when I'm looking at the numbers, it means something to me. I'll tell you where you want to put your money today. 100% is in gold. The problem with gold is it's a static investment. You don't get any interest on your investment in gold. But gold, skyrocketing. 2 years ago, $2,800 an ounce. Today, it's over $4,000 an ounce. If you had some gold bars sitting in your closet, you're almost twice as rich as you were a year and a half ago. Gold. Killing it. Silver's okay, but silver isn't climbing anything. Silver holds its value, but it isn't climbing like gold. Yeah. It doesn't, like we say, it doesn't gain any interest, but the value is just skyrocketing right now. You know, the gold watches the dollar. So anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about finances here. Believe me, I'm not a financial wizard by any means, but I know just enough. Is that true? Diamond values are dropping? Joe says gold's gone up 3 times since 2018. Yeah. I watch those gold mining shows. You know what I'm talking about? Bering Sea Gold and Gold Rush. And you see them when they're weighing it out at the end of the show, and they tell you, oh, it's worth this. Well, I was watching one the other day, and it was worth like, during the show when they were weighing it, it was like $3,200. I think to myself, don't cash your money in, guys, the gold miners. Don't cash that in yet. Just sit it in a jar, in a safe in your trailer, and it's growing. You don't even have to mine this year. You're getting richer just letting it sit there. So, but they can't do that because they got to buy diesel and pay for those big machines that they use. Questions and answers. Let's go. Anybody got a question for Pops? I love those shows, Mr. Marmars. I love those shows. BTC. I don't know much about that at all. Somebody has Vietnamese money? That's interesting. Arbitrage. Anybody have a question? Anthony Hunt, it's practice. Thank you for asking that question. Anthony says, Pops, how'd you get so kind? Practicing. I used to be mean. Not so much anymore. The easiest strain of cubensis to grow, Aaron, in my experience, it was Golden Teacher. Golden Teacher was always a very basic, easy grow, fast grow, does a great job in microdose and in macro. But Golden Teacher was my one of the originals that I tried growing, and I've gone away from that because I specialize in PE and Ghosts now, and PE is much harder to grow. But once you get the combination down on PE, it's a win. PE likes a little more humid environment. Golden Teacher is a little more forgiving. Apes are albino PE. That's what an ape is, right? And they're not easy. They're not easy. You have to have a really dialed in environment, and it has to stay very consistent in that environment. What is Ghost? Ghost is, that's a good question. Ghost is I can't remember the actual real term for Ghost, but Ghost is, it's an albino, good question. I'll get an answer to you. Ghost is like a generic term now, but it's an albino from, maybe Sarah Bear's right. It might be from Tat. Yeah. That's a good question. It's not an albino Golden Teacher. No, that's close. And it's not Tanelius. No, it's a good question. Ghost is like a nickname now. That's not the actual strain. I'm gonna have to look that up. I've been calling it Ghost for years. You're living in the tropics, do you still need temp control? Yeah, of course. You want your tubs or your tent or your closet to be very dialed in. Even if you're in a tropical environment, it might be easier to get your temperature dialed in. But you want it to be right at about 74 degrees, and you want it to your humidity to be over 90. Even in tropical environments, you're going to get shifts in weather, just local shifts. Okay? So, 74 degrees, over 90% humidity. Keep it very consistent in those two, and you're well on your way. But I'm sure in a tropical environment, it's probably easier to reach those goals and to keep them. How to ensure clean air for your air exchange. Um, okay, HEPA filters. Now this is if you're doing auto air, like we have over at the grow house. We have where air will pulse on for 10 minutes every hour, and the air that's going into the grow area is being directed through a HEPA filter. But you don't have to always do that. I mean, just making sure that the environment that you're in is clean. And often when we were first starting, we would just open up a tub, take the lid, and just use the lid as a fan. Every 4 hours, just do that. Then re-mist the area so the humidity gets back, and then close the lid. And almost never had contamination issues because the room itself was clean. A very strong advice is don't grow your shrooms in a carpeted area. Usually you'll want your floor to be a hardwood floor, a vinyl floor, a cement floor, something that can be mopped and cleaned, because that's where a lot of the your air will be contaminated from. Carpets are absolutely, even if they look clean because you've been vacuuming them, they're absolutely filthy. They're just, anyone that knows that, pull up a carpet to replace it and look what's underneath. It's filthy. The carpet just filters stuff, but underneath they're gross. We do a mopping, a clean mop once a week. One of the biggest things is to make sure that the environment stays very clean. Looking for any other questions here? Okay, so Sandy says it is attacked. A ghost is attacked. It's a phenotype of true albino teacher. So whoever said that earlier was correct. Okay. A $300 Shark air purifier. That's not a bad thing to run an air purifier in your room. Have an air purifier. We did that for a season. We had an air purifier sitting in the corner, and it would just cycle the air, whatever air was in the room, through the purifier. Found out we really didn't need it, but we wear booties when we go in to the room. Always wear booties. But our room's big. If you're just working with tubs, 6 or 7 tubs, and you have a tent or a closet, not really necessary. But if you're working in a larger environment, it's super easy to track in stuff with you. And be very consistent about wearing plastic gloves, rubber gloves, plastic gloves, vinyl gloves, whatever. Be very consistent in using those when handling anything that you're working with. Spray yourself with Lysol before entering the room. That's not a bad call. I mean, Lysol is definitely, that's our go-to cleaning agent for when we mop and we wipe stuff down. We're using a concentrated Lysol, but then we've added distilled water. I'm a big proponent of distilled water compared to tap water. Michigan's well known for having very clean water. That's why they call it pure Michigan here. Unless you're in Flint. Flint had some real problems with its water, but that's been cleaned up. But I have a distiller. It was one of my early investments, so I didn't have to always be going down to a water store or somewhere and buying distilled water. So we have a distiller, and the distiller is constantly, almost always running and giving me gallons and gallons of distilled water. A distiller. So it's a real nice tool to have. Okay, how do I manage multiple flushes? Bubblegum, I gotta be honest with you, I don't. Every once in a while, excuse me, every once in a while, I'll reflush a cake, but with the volume that I'm working at, it doesn't always make economical sense. So most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I just get one flush and then I'm done with that cake. Now, in the olden days, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would reflush a cake. The big thing that you have to make sure is that you rehydrate the cake, but you don't overhydrate it. There's bro science out there that talks about dunking the cake, but then to me, you don't realize how much moisture is still in a cake after its first flush. So what I'll do is just a very, very heavy mist to rehydrate it. And then all you do is just wait for the next flush to come up. The value in a second flush, third flush, the most I've ever gotten out of a cake, one time I got 6 flushes. But every time I grow another flush, the contamination possibility percentages go up. I have more of a chance of having a contaminated cake. And because I have such a, I'm running so many at a time, I think we're going like 48 tubs right now. I can't risk contamination. So, and usually I've already got a substrate sitting there. I have colonized spawn sitting there, and it's easier just to make a new cake and go from scratch. But the value of a second, third flush is that the shrooms are going to be bigger in your second and third flushes, and who knows, but we think that they're stronger too. But to be honest with you, just recently, there were a couple of, maybe I think 5 or 6 tubs, and we ran them for a second flush, kept our fingers crossed, and they all worked out fine, and got a beautiful second flush out of all of them. By the way, this last time, because of the season, because it's getting cold, I made an extra, these are 3-pound bags of rye berry, 3-pound bags, and I usually run 1 bag to 1 tub, 3 pounds, to around 6 pounds of substrate, a 2-to-1 ratio. And we calculate how many bags I'm going to need for my next grow cycle. And I've always got bags in one area that are colonizing, while I have tubs over another area that are colonizing and actually growing shrooms. This last time, I made 15 more bags than I know I'm gonna need. 15. And I'm gonna do that for the rest of winter. So I will be offering soon pre-colonized spawn bag mailed out to you, and all you'll need to do is receive it. It'll already be like 3/4 colonized by the time I put it in the mail, and give it a chance to colonize just a little more on its way to you. And then when you receive it, all you'll have to do is add it to substrate, and you're off and running. You won't have to do any of the prep work. And the reason we can do that is winter. We ran this same thing before, and shipping is the problem. Not actually shipping, but when it sits on your front porch for a day in the sun, or I'm sending it to Arizona, or it's in the post office, and the post office is getting too hot. But in the winter is when it's a good time to sell spawn bags. So stay tuned. I'll let you guys know when those become available. And I think I'm going to ask for like $30, $35 for a bag. Something in that neighborhood. Okay. You know what? It won't freeze typically, Herbie, because it's insulated in cardboard. Now, obviously, I'm not sending it to you hoping it sits in a snowbank on your front porch. But it's going to be something in the neighborhood of $30, $35. And then if you'll reach out to Dynasoil and get a bag of their Dynasoil in a tub, and you'll be off and running. Yeah, exactly, Derek. And it's a jump start. I'd like to see people growing their own. Yeah, I like to see people growing their own. So we actually have scheduled, I over-bagged and made spawn bags so I would have extra for sale this winter. Fall and winter. Let's do some reading. Let's do some reading here. Okay? Right, Pace? Just no fuss, no muss. You won't get Dynasoil too. You don't even have to make your own substrate. Dynasoil's still out there, still killing the game. Wonderful husband and wife team that do that. And I haven't ordered Dynasoil in a couple of years because we have we make our own substrate, and we have an autoclave. And so I can bag up 50 bags and fit them all into an autoclave and run it at 180 degrees for an hour. And now I'm sitting there with bags of substrate waiting for the colonized spawn to meet it. So the autoclave wasn't not something that was cheap, but it was an amazing investment because it allowed us to work at a volume. Yesterday we were talking about being stressed. Today we're going to talk about being overwhelmed. Remember that the restaurant example was you're in the weeds when you're stressed, and you're blown when you're overwhelmed. Right? If stress is like being in the weeds, let's turn this down, Pops. If stress is like being in the weeds, let's do another question and answer. We'll do it next week. We'll keep talking. I agree with what Sarah Bear said. It's fun to talk about colony and just growing mushrooms. The best thing about growing mushrooms isn't really even growing the mushroom. Isn't the mushroom. It's the growing. You learn so much about yourself when you're growing. That's, somebody asked earlier, Pops, how did I get kind? My mushrooms taught me. When you're mean and you're angry and you're frustrated, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, your mushrooms feel it. I'm not joking. This isn't some woo-woo. You're not doing it. Something's not going right. But there's a zen. I remember my first year of growing. No patience. I'm in there grabbing a bag well, I wasn't using bags and I was using jars to colonize in. But boy, I'd have to look at that jar every hour. I'd be in my tent opening it up and then letting the air get in. Every hour, every 2 hours. How's it doing? Is there any more colonizing going on here? Just lack of patience. And then it's like, how come it's not working? How come I'm always having problems? Because you're not just letting the mushroom be a mushroom. You're not learning from the mushroom. You're bringing your personality to it. Slow down your personality. Enjoy the process. Learn patience. And slowly, I was learning. Okay? Opening up a tub to look at, does it grow more today? The only reason I should be opening a tub is to fan it. That would be the only reason. And now I don't have to. Now I have an auto system. I won't even look at the tub. I can look through the side and see that I'm good. There's such a change in when you slow down and you give stuff a chance to grow and work for itself. And the other thing is my ego was super involved. I'm trying to come up with the best. Oh, I'm going to teach everybody this. I'm going to come up with a special blend of this or that. It was like, no, bro, basic. Back it up. Why don't you just try to be basic? But my ego, like, oh, I'm gonna know more about how to do it than anyone else. Just be basic. The same thing we teach with the 4 agreements. It's basic. 4 steps. 4 agreements. That's it. Anything more, my ego starts getting involved. Tub design too, Justin. Yes. Airflow. How many holes should it have? What filters should I be using? Like, I remember pimping tubs. Putting special little grills in there with certain filters and, oh, God. It's like, just be basic. And it's like, admitting that to myself was the win. And then practicing it. Now I spend more time on my computer, on my spreadsheet, planning my grow cycles. Like I have to have bags ready by this day. I have to have the substrate ready by this day. I have to start new tubs by this day. This will be my harvest day. I have a production cycle. And then, okay, I'm going to be harvesting 10 tubs this Friday, but I want to harvest another 10 on Monday. So when do I have to start those tubs? I spend more time working on my spreadsheets. It's perfect. I don't use a vaporizer. That was another thing. I've had at least 5 different humidifiers. At least 5 different humidifiers. Thinking I'll find the best humidifier. If I spend more money on a humidifier, it's going to be better. I've given every humidifier I have away. Every one. Now, we just mist. And we don't even use a mister, we use an atomizer. An atomizer is basically a foggy. It just does a fog. Think about it in nature. When we're using misters, they're bigger droplets of water. They're closer to rain. Right? Justin, I don't remember specifically a brand. I have about 5 different ones. But they're all atomizers. Battery charged. You just pull the trigger and it creates a fog. It's an atomizer. And the atomizer, it's such small molecules of water that it reminds me of fog. And picture out in nature. Fog just coming over the top of the mountain and settling into the little crevices where underneath the leaves is where the spores are and things are going to start to grow. If it gets a torrential rain, those spores are wiped out. So we just do an atomizing and control the humidity inside the tub. And one of the best ways to control humidity inside of a tub is by not lifting the lid. But that's in my auto system. When I was doing it manually, I would lift that lid every 4 hours, wave the lid over the top of the tub to fan it for a minute, which is an air exchange. I'm getting rid of the carbon dioxide, and it's bringing in clean oxygen. And then before I put the lid back on, because I've escaped all the humidity, I'll mist the cake just lightly, not on the cake, but around the walls of the tub and underneath the lid, and then put it back down. And then we have, and we did this always, having a meter in 1 out of 10 tubs where you're able to see what the humidity is inside that tub. And years ago, I found a GoV. It's a little thing that I hang in the top of the tub underneath the lid, and it reads to my phone what the temperature is inside the tub and what the humidity is inside the tub. Let me see if yeah, I saw that, you guys. Ace Frehley passed away. Let me see, right here. GoV. So this one's not active right now, but this one, wherever this GoV monitor is, it's 85 degrees right now, and it's 22% humidity. Now, if I would take this little monitor and I hang it underneath the lid so it's suspended in the air inside the tub, and then I'm able to read what the conditions are inside my tub without ever lifting the lid. And as long as this number here is over 90, this number here is over 90, and this number is right around 74, I don't have to do anything. Okay? I'm good. And I'll put almost one for every 10 tubs. We still run those over at the grow house. And it gives them a sample of what that stack of tubs is going to look like. Well, we're going to be running out of time. I'm not going to be able to talk about being overwhelmed today, but that's okay. So I'm not overwhelmed, are you? It's good to learn what the difference between stressed and overwhelmed and how to handle it when we're overwhelmed. One thing I would say about being overwhelmed is you are afraid of surrender because you don't want to lose control. But you never had control. All you had was anxiety. What do you think about that? I'll say it again. You're afraid of surrender because you don't want to lose control. But you never had control. All you had was anxiety. I have another one over here. This was a saying I was going to pop at you guys. A weed, I heard this somewhere and I wrote it down. I go, I love this. Especially because today I have to go weed over at the garden. A weed is a plant out of place. I'm a weed. A weed is just a plant out of place. They have a reason to be there. A weed is a plant that's out of place. I'm a weed. I'm out of place in this world. Um, I'm not the same as a lot of the other plants in this world. I'm a weed. Kimberly's weed's in perfect place. I get that. The more you fish, the better you get at it. The more you practice anything, the better you're going to get at it, right? There was a skunk in the yard yesterday. Now, I told you guys, I open it up. Actually, wait for it. I found this product, and I lace it underneath the plants that are in my yard. This is laced, powdered underneath the plants that are in my yard. It's an animal repellent. This unique blend of ingredients causes a mild irritation to animals' nasal passages. When an animal touches, tastes, or smells it, it triggers a natural instinct to escape or avoid, and the animal simply leaves. They're like, ew, I don't want to go underneath that bush. I'm staying away. Kind of do a little border of it. And it seems to be working. Okay? Herbie, that's creepy. We're not shooting them. We're just gonna poison them. And it's not a poison, it won't kill them. It's a natural repellent to their noses. And so the skunks and the squirrels avoid it. And so I have it all around the bushes and stuff around the house where the skunks were going. And yesterday morning, I opened up the front door to check to see if the trash had been picked up. It was around 6:30 in the morning, because they come at 6:30 almost every day. And out at the very perimeter of the property, I'm like, what is that? And it was a skunk. And the skunk heard the front door open and took off down the street. But yeah, Jolie, it's aversive conditioning. So it looks like I'm keeping the skunks away quite a bit. This is a really skunky neighborhood. It is. There's skunks everywhere around this neighborhood. I mean, I think skunks are cute, especially Pepe Le Pew, the little cartoon guy. But man, I can't take a skunk. You guys, I lost a whole outfit, whole fishing outfit. Remember when I got skunked, I had to strip down and be almost nude, just down to my Burger King underwear and run back in the house. And then I had to take a bath in tomato juice, 3 of them. Yeah. Anthony, nobody likes the smell. No. Get skunked sometime and let me see if you say that. Right, Sparky? I had it happen to my vehicle too once. It was years ago. I don't know what else to talk about. We're supposed to be reading about being overwhelmed, but I don't want to. Okay? We have a neighbor. This guy must be one heck of a toker, because every so often you'll go outside and just blowing, because the wind's coming from that direction. It's blowing his weed smell, is smoking. It's blowing clouds of his weed clouds over into my yard. And I found out I don't like the smell of weed if I'm not smoking it. I don't like it. I was like, nah, I don't like that. The minute I take one hit, I can't smell it anymore. It's not a problem. Snoop table, never going to be a problem. But I don't like the smell of weed when I'm not smelling it. Well, we got about 2 minutes left here. Kim's like, I don't like to not be smoking it. Oh, I wish. Man, the first time I smoked weed was with my brother, of all people. My brother was 3 years older. He was 16, and I was 13. And he had a joint from one of his friends, who was the high school dealer at the time. And we went out we had a fort. We had made a fort in our backyard. Boys only. We had one of those clubhouses. Literally, my sisters weren't allowed to come in it. Just my brother and me. So we went out to the fort. What we used to do? It's a true story. We used to prepare for war. So we would get, and my mom would kill us when she found it. We would get one of my mom's cookie sheets. And we'd bring it outside, and we would make mud balls. We'd spend half an afternoon taking mud, dirt, adding water, and rolling up just like it's a meatball, little mud balls this big, about the size of a golf ball. And then we'd put them on the cookie tray, and then put the cookie tray out in the sun so it would dry. We were making ammo. Okay? It's a true story. So then one of us would be in the fort, and the fort had a hatch at the top that you would get in and out of the fort. There was no door. There was a hatch in the top of the fort, like a tank. Plywood on a hinge, with a couple of hinges. And the whole fort was made out of plywood. And we had little portholes like this big, so you could, 3 or 4 of them, so you could look out. Okay? And one brother, we would take turns. And one brother would be inside the fort, and the other brother would be outside, and he'd have all the ammo. And the trick was, you're throwing these dried dirt clods now at the brother in the fort, and you're hoping that it gets through the porthole. And of course, your brother's eye better be right there so you can put it out. Okay? We did this a couple of summers. Okay? So one guy's outside, and the guy inside defense, I have no offense. I'm just in there hoping to survive a tray of dirt clods. And then, when you're done, you see all these marks from the dirt clod on the wall of the fort, and we'd hose it off. Well, one time, my brother is going to be smart. And I can't see out the port. I'm inside the fort, and he's outside. And all of a sudden, the dirt clod stopped coming. And I didn't, what's going on out there? And I'm dying to poke my head out of the hatch, but I have a feeling that he's standing at the hatch, and he's ready to drop a couple of dirt clods on me as I open the hatch. So I stay inside. The next thing you know, my brother had gone and got a coffee can, and he filled it with gasoline. And he had taken some kind of a twine, some kind of a string, and dipped it in the gasoline and ran it 3 or 4 feet away, and he goes and he lights it. He's gonna burn me out. He's gonna burn me out of the fort. And he takes this can and he puts it up against the wall of the fort, and he lights it, and woof, the can goes up. Like, now the whole wall of the fort is on fire and I'm stuck inside. And he's like freaking out. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I'm trapped in here. What am I going to do? I think too, if I remember, he put a rock or something on the hatch so I couldn't get out. Like, no one knew. We're kids. He had no idea he was going to kill his brother. And somehow or another, he scrambled and opened the hatch. He got me out. We burned our fort down. We burned it down. The whole fort's on fire. There was no hose in the close by or anything. We're running in the house and getting pans of water and running out. And by the time you get into the back door and fill it up with water and back out, another wall is on fire. Burns the fort to the ground. That night, my dad comes home from work. And he's good, for whatever reason, he goes to the backyard. We got grounded for like a month. Like, brothers burning each other out of the fort. My brother got in more trouble than me. You could have killed your brother. What were you thinking? Well, my brother 4 years later is the Los Angeles Fire Department. Working, he's a firefighter. I bet he didn't tell him. My bet is he never mentioned that at the fire academy. Okay, my bet. Oh, I know that he... Oh, gosh. We still crack ourselves up about the time my brother almost burned me to death. Okay? I'm really proud of my brother. He was about my height. Not tall. 5'8", 5'9". Yeah, but we're both kind of stocky and strongish. When he went to the fire department as a recruit, he was the smallest in his class at the fire academy. And they graduate, I'm just going to give a number, 80 of them are going to graduate and go on and become firemen. My brother was 81st in his class, whatever the number was. He was the number one alternate. He didn't actually graduate with the rest of them. So he's an alternate, he's on standby. And you can come back and you can try again next year. But it so happens that one of the guys that had gone into the fire department, was in his same class, was a friend of mine. We grew up together, this guy. And in between graduating from the fire academy and having to go to work as a rookie firefighter, he was riding a motorcycle, and he got in a motorcycle accident, and he lost his arm. So he had an accident that amputated his arm. So they turned to the first alternate, who was my brother, and my brother made it into the fire department as an alternate from his graduating class. And why it's just such kismet in that is that it took one of my friends' arm to get my brother into the fire department at the end of the day. And then you would think, oh, well, he must be a dummy to be... No, one of the real reasons was he was small. And they liked your firefighters to be 5'10" and over. There was a kind of an unwritten height requirement. They weren't allowed to put it in writing, but they wanted their firefighters to be taller. So that gave them like more of a negative score. And then even though he went in as an alternate, I think I've bragged to you guys before, he ended up being the fire marshal. Second or third highest rank you could have in the whole. He was just that far from being the chief of the whole fire department. So it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. It's pretty great. Yeah, I have so much respect for my brother in so many ways. It's a good example. So it doesn't matter where you start. And even if you're an alternate, you still got a shot. Give me 5 people that like that story. And then give me another 5 that are glad Pops didn't get burned, didn't get torched as a kid. Johnny Flame. There was a are we still here? Looks like the comments have timed out again. This is weird. Okay. Well, Pops can be quiet anyways. We're running out of time. 4 things. Let's be impeccable with our word and our actions. And let's not try to burn our brothers down. Let's not take things personal, including your brother trying to kill you. Let's not make any assumptions. And let's do our best, just like my brother did trying to kill me. Okay? Yeah, I've run out of the It's funny, I'm wondering why the comments freeze. This is the second time that's happened this week. Because I know you guys are still commenting, but they're not coming across. Are they coming across to you guys? My last comment was from Nick Charles, where he wrote, "Oh, Jesus." Are your comments still showing up to you guys on your screen? Or do they freeze on you guys? Oh, well, you can't answer me. Sorry. I can't see even if you answer me. Dummy. Okay, guys. Love you. We rambled quite a bit today. I hope you guys had as good a day as I did. I just love you guys. I love being here. I'm going to have a beautiful day for the rest of it. Go out and do some things in the world. Keep practicing. Practicing being amazing. I don't know. Herbie's saying maybe the comments turn off after a certain time. But last time, I don't know, maybe. Maybe they're like, they've never done that before though. You could go over an hour. Maybe it's a new setting like when they change the names. Maybe they're like, get out of here. Stop talking. Which we will. Pops, peace, love. We will see Sandy here next Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see the rest of you guys here Monday. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Practice. Practice in your home first. And practice in your community. Practice goodness and kindness and generosity. Remember that you can make a difference. Remember, people look at you. And they'll model themselves after good behavior. Love you guys. Pops out. No, I can still say goodbye to Nick and Jolie and Pharmacy Runner and Derek and Sparky and Sue Little and Sanum and Nick Charles and Mr. Marmars and Kimberly and Anthony Hunt. Nice to see him. Jesus Christ in Australia, Sue, Herbie, Cleany, Nick Charles, Jesus Christ, and Derek Anderson, and I'm out of, that's all the commenters I have here. You guys, Pops, peace, love, see you next week.